Letters to Maurice Belmacher, 1927 to 1941. Translated by Gosha Zaremba. Scanned and edited by Miriam Belmacher. In the early 1920s, about 1,200 Jews lived in Blonie, representing about a quarter of the townlet's population. They earned a living on commerce and small industry. Blonie had a very active Jewish community. Hebrew language courses were led, drama and literature circles were active, a Zionist and Agudas Yisrael party were active. The Jewish children attended both Jewish and Polish schools. In the fall of 1940, the Nazis established in Blonie a ghetto where over 2,000 people were imprisoned. The Nazis liquidated the Blonie ghetto in February 1941 and deported its inhabitants to Warsaw. In early January 1942, the Jewish quarter in Ozero was fenced in and turned into a sealed ghetto, with some 4,500 inhabitants. On Thursday, October 15, 1942, Jews were forced to leave Ozero to Treblinka. 22nd of July 1942, a huge displacement action began in the Warsaw Ghetto. First transports left the Umschlagplatz and headed for gas chambers in Treblinka. In the period between 22nd of July and 21st of September 1942, the Germans transported from the ghetto about 310,000 Jews who were taken to Treblinka.
Chaya Ita, Nilu Bliner Belmacher, and Chaim Pinchas Belmacher, died 1935 from Blonie, Poland, had 6 children: Tzipora, Moshe, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Yekele, and Malka. Tzipora, Cesia in Polish, born 1900, married to Lipman Lipski, mother of Regina. Moved from Blonie to Lodz in 1920s. There was also an Aunt Tzipa in New York, married Baruch Lemberger, and had 2 children, Lou and Sally. Moshe Zalman Morris Belmacher in New York, born 1903. Yaakov Yekle, born 1906, died of tuberculosis in 1929. Avraham, born 1909, married Ditel, had a daughter, Lucia. Yitzchak, born 1912, studied in Lublin Yeshiva, died in late 1940 in Warsaw Ghetto. Malka, Malgozia in Polish, born 1915, married Hilik Wachberg, mother of Chaim Pinchas, born 8th of July, 1936.
From Lodz, 1927, a New Year's wish for 5,698 for Grandma and Grandpa and the whole family. Dear Grandma and devoted Grandpa, I wish you for the new year as many stars in the sky, as many stalks in the field. May you have a year of health and wealth. Satisfaction from Lodz, from the children who live among the factories. May the dear Holy Father grant you good fortune from today. From your American son who laughs at all of us, may he soon send you a picture together with his bride. Please accept, dear Mom, a wish from your child, a year of making a good living and the best of health. And dear Dad, I won't leave you alone either. 5 factories for the new year, and your own house to live in. For your dollars, dear American uncle, I bow deeply to you. Mom is happy. Dad is no worse of either. Grandpa always used to say, Grandma confirms it now, that out of the whole family, you turned out to be the best child. I know too. Your character is precious. I wish you for the new year. Millions of dollars and 5 palaces. Yaakov, Avraham, Yitzchak, I'll give you something too. All of us together. May we live until next year. Are you surprised, Aunt Malka, that no one loves you? You should be ashamed that you don't want to help out at home. You can make the bed sometimes or wash some dishes. So I wish you for the new year plenty to snack on. I especially want to wish every friend and relative, may you all pray for the best for the holidays and the new year. These are the wishes from your grandchild, my dear family, little Regina, with the greatest respect.
Dear brother-in-law, I received a letter today from Sister Tsipa with best wishes, as it says above. She writes that she received these wishes from her daughter so that I would send it on to you, so that you would have something to say about her abilities. I copied it from a copy of hers. At the same time, my family and I wish you a happy and healthy new year, and we thank you for the favors that you have done for us over the past year. I only hope that from now on I can cheer you up with good news. Lipman. Lodge, January 26, 1930. Dear brother-in-law, I received your letter of January 3rd. You've certainly already gotten my sad letter about dear departed Yaakov. I can imagine how you feel. I can see from what you wrote that you had a premonition. I figured that you would understand more from my comments. I am still so shocked that sometimes I don't understand what people are saying to me. Dear brother-in-law, be strong. You can't kill yourself over this. Dear brother-in-law, although it is very hard for me to write about this terribly sad event, but since I've started, I will tell you all about what happened. The night of November 18th was a turbulent one. It was pouring rain endlessly. We all felt frightened, as if the night was giving us a sign that something terrible was going to happen soon. Mom, said Yekele, I'm afraid. Mom is heartbroken, fights back tears as she speaks so that the sick child not notice. Mom, take a rest. Quiet, my child. You're going to get well. Mom, give me your head so I can give you my last few kisses. As he hugged his beloved mother and covered her with kisses, he said, Mom, I'm dying. As he said this, everyone was crying, and he fell asleep for the last time in his mother's arms. Meanwhile, the storm got worse, and the house filled up with people. No one, relatives or anyone else, could have imagined something so sad happening so suddenly. It happened between 5 and 6 a.m., that is, Wednesday the 19th. The news spread like lightning through the town. Everyone was mourning. Everyone loved Yaakov very much. Even the Christians mourned along with us. It goes without saying what things were like at home. They sent us a telegram. As I've written to you, Tzipale barely made it to the train. I missed the funeral. They delayed the funeral for us, and when Tzipale arrived, they were already on the way to the cemetery. You can only imagine what Tzipale's arrival was like. Yes, I'll keep writing. Immediately after his death, a meeting of his friends was called at the library. It was decided to close the library for a period of mourning of 8 days, and that his friends would be the ones to carry the stretcher. The funeral started at 3:30. His friends unhitched the horses from the hearse, and they took it upon themselves to pull the hearse. You can imagine the scene. It was heartbreaking. It was then that Tzipale arrived, screaming and crying. You couldn't have helped but be moved by it. When they arrived at the grave, it was already dark. Avigdor Rosenberg wanted to give a eulogy, but because it was so late, he wasn't allowed to. A minute later, our dear Yekele was in a fresh grave. There is much more to say about our terrible tragedy, but I don't want to cause you so much pain. Tzipele has been in Blonie for 2 weeks. The child is being treated in Warsaw. You don't have to worry. She is getting much better. In Warsaw, you get better treatment. I expect her to come home this week. Tzipele will tell me everything about how things are at home now that dear departed Yaakov is no more. It must have been 10 days earlier that Avraham got engaged. So imagine that if we had expected it, would your parents have had a party? My sister, Mrs. Kreitzman, who is living here with us, took the last $15. I was in Bloine then to pay my condolences. I'm glad that you won't be sending me any more money. Don't worry about us. I'm working. Best wishes. Write me back right away. Tzipa has the brooch. Lipman.
Bloine, January 16th, 1930. Dear Brother Moshe, we received your letter of the 20th today. I am rushing to answer you. You write that no one is writing to you. Your letter took almost 4 weeks to arrive, and we answer all your letters, but they take a long time to arrive, and it isn't our fault. Mom says that she has already sent you several letters, but has not gotten any answer either. I don't have anything else to say to you because Dad is writing to you. You don't have to worry about me. Lipman is working. I've been to the doctor with my child, and he says that the child is much better. I'll be coming home in the next few days. Dear brother, I don't know what to think. I haven't gotten any letter from you for so long. Could you be annoyed at me? I don't know why you would be. I kiss you and my daughter, Tzipa.
To my dear son, I am beginning to write with bitter tears. I don't know what to write. Dear son, I received your letter of the 5th, and when you ask if Yaakov is in Otwak, our dear Yekele doesn't need to go to Otwak. Our life is so hard. Oy vey, oy. Nobody wants to write to you, only I must write to you, that our love Yaakov has been taken from us. Please, dear brother and brother-in-law, have pity on your sisters and brothers and on your parents, and do something to console us, since our life has become so bitter. Dear child, I thought that you would find out about it today. But today I had to write to you because you wrote that Tzippa was dropping hints rather than writing clearly. I want you to know that Aunt Tzippa knew right away, but she did not want to tell you. Alas, your father had to write and let you know, dear son. Alas, my poor hardened heart, I can only pray to God that nothing more happens, that I gain nachat from the rest of the children. Praise God, Malka is well. She had also been sick, but today she is well, thank God. Now Tzippa will tell you everything. It has been 9 weeks since our beautiful Yaakov is no more. The whole table is covered with bitter tears from me, your father, who wants to see you again.
גילינו בבית הקברות היהודי בבלוינה את המצבה של חיים פנחס בלמאכר.
Dear son, I have received your letter and I thank you for it very much. We are all well. Everyone was supposed to write to you, but only someone with an ID from here can send a letter. Lippman is in hospital with an eye disease. Yitzhak is with his wife. She is going to sign instead of us because we want to be sure that the letter arrives. So far, we don't need anything. Just write us all the time, and so shall we. Do not wait for letters from us because we have difficulties, but try to arrange so that we can come to you and will be alive. Write about yourself. Don't send anything. Be well and happy, your mother. You asked everyone to sign, so here are our signatures. Dear son, I received your letter on March 31st. It has been 14 weeks since we left Blonie. We live in Warsaw, 31 Gezia Street, apartment 14. Tsipa, Lippman, and Regina left for Azarov, near Apoto, but we no longer could do it. We do not have enough to live on. Maybe Malka will go too. Life is difficult. Perhaps you can send a parcel, but to make it worthwhile, it should be an object of some value that we could sell. Avram is in Warsaw. He's getting by somehow. The worst situation is with Tsipa, but there's nothing to do. Maybe God will help and it will soon be over. Our home is intact. Let's hope we can survive. Try as much as you can to send a good parcel, but not clothing. How are Aunt Tsipa, her husband, and the children? You are happy. Be well. Regards for Tsipa, her husband, and the children. Write Sister Tsipa a letter at the address El Lepsky, Azarov, near Apoto, Lublin Province. Cordial regards from all of us.
There is no more space to write. Hilek.
Dear son, I have received your postcards. Nobody is home, only Hilek and I. Malka, Tsipa has left to Azarov. Lippman and Regina too. Life is cheap there. Maybe you will be able to send things to Tsipa. Everything has been burnt. Send food. Avraham is in Warsaw with his wife and daughter. Tsipa's husband is so-so. Yitzhak is dead. He was sick and passed away. He left a little boy 5 years old. It's been already a year since his passing. Lippman is blind in one eye. I'm lucky to have lived to old age to take comfort in my children and live through all that, the war. We already had to part, but Malka went with him. She is smart, so she will manage. Chaim Pinchas has also left. Tell Aunt Tsipa that Isaac Elman's wife died. Dear son, be well and happy. Regards from all of us, your mother, Belmacher.
Dear brother, yesterday I got your postcard from Hilek, which gives us much hope. You ask why our address in Warsaw is C.O.L. Lipsky. Do not worry about it. The reason is not important. When we left for Warsaw, Hilek had to stay in Blonie to submit reports to the Gmina municipality, because he was a member of the council. Meanwhile, we had to get a resident registration, and therefore I sent you Lippman's address. Now you can address your letters to C.H. Wojsberg, because Lippman, Tsipa, and Regina have arrived here in Ozaro Kielewski, which is 300 kilometers from Warsaw. They left due to our conditions, because I could no longer support them. As you know, we have lost everything, and despite that I supported them for a year and a half. but I could no longer continue to do so. I kept her until the very last moment, as long as I could. Food here is cheaper, therefore we left. Parting with my beloved ones was already too much for me. We have experienced many blows so far, but parting with our dearest ones was the biggest blow for me. Only Hilik stayed with Mommy. I arrived here and my child 2 weeks ago. I would have never made the decision to part with them if the doctor had not told me to do so because of my health conditions. Usually I feel well and look fine, but my heart is weak. An important reason for leaving was that food is twice as cheap here. I took along some of the clothing and bedding, as much as I could, and thanks to selling it, I made some money and can send them food in Warsaw. It is very important. Avraham, too, still lives in Warsaw. He can still manage. Our family included 7 people, so it was impossible to make a living for all of them. Supporting 2 people is a whole different story. Speaking of Hilik staying with Mommy, you can be at peace with it. They have gotten along well from the very beginning. He is better to her than her own son. He takes care of her as a daughter would do. People say it is a rare thing, the respect that Hilik shows her. Our mother deserves it because such mothers are so rare. During the first days after my arrival, I was on pins and needles because I missed her so much. I had never been separated from her since I was born. Fate has separated me from my mother and my husband. I can't make peace with it. Hilik wrote me that Mother asked me to write to you to request a parcel of food. If you can, send them one. In Warsaw, people who receive parcels with fatty foods and tea can later use them to buy bread. You know I have never written you negative letters, but today the pain of separation makes me want to confess. Don't hold it against me. Mommy is feeling sad. She is used to having all the kids near her, and today she is in Warsaw only with Avram and Hilik. Avram lives on a different street. Tzipa and I are so far from them. It is not so easy to go see them because transportation is severed. I understand you have some information about us. It has been months since we left home. I am glad that my child Chaim Pinchas is healthy and well built. People are delighted with his athletic body. On July 8th, he will turn 5 years old. In his letters, Hilik despairs that he cannot see his child. Mommy loves him very much. The little one asks every day, "When will we go to Daddy?" But it is no easier to go to Hilik than to you. I yearn to be with them. I imagine seeing them. Darling, if you can, send them a parcel in Warsaw. In this provincial town, I can cope with more easily. I would take my little one to a photographer, but it isn't worth the money. There are forest shelters here. We go to the forest. Write us about what you are up to. It gives us hope. Nothing is new apart from that. We are healthy. Today I got a letter from home. They are healthy too. Warm regards from everyone. Everyone from Blonie is now living in Warsaw. Warm kisses for you, Malka.
Dear Moshe, your postcard to Mommy has arrived. We are fine. As you know, everyone is in Ozero except me with my family and Mommy. It is possible that this week Mommy will leave Warsaw for Ozero too. My little daughter Lucia is already a big girl and she wants to write a few words to you, too. Be well.
I kiss you, Moshe. Lucia.
Dear son, I have received your letter. I'm still in Warsaw. Maybe with God's help I will go to my children. We endure while living together. What's new with you? How much I would like to see you and Avraham. He was very sick, but thank God he is now healthy. Maybe he will go to Ozerov with his family. Everybody is alive, only Yitzhak is dead. He left a boy who is already 5. He is so much like his father. Be well. Chaya Belmacher.
All took leave from life in the manner which most suited them, but the mothers stayed up to prepare the food for the journey with tender care, and washed their children, and packed their luggage. And at dawn the barbed wire was full of children's washing, hung out in the wind to dry. Nor did they forget the diapers, the toys, the cushions, and the hundreds other small things which mothers remember, and which children always need. Would you not do the same? If you and your child were going to die tomorrow, would you not give him to eat today?
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמה דיברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, ויצמח פורקני, ויקרב משיחי, בחייכון ובמיוחון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמה רבה מבורך לעולם, לעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה, שירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, חיים וגאולה וסליחה וכפרה, ורוח והצלה, לנו ולכל עמו ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא ברחמיו יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Of those who wrote these letters, none survived. Moshe Belmacher, who received the letters, has over 30 descendants today, the majority living in Israel.